when the music fades and all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something less of worth that will bless your heart.
We start a new liturgical year today. The Sunday Gospels for the next year will come primarily from the Gospel of Luke. On this particular Sunday, the Gospel passage contains a clear statement of Luke's most important theme: be vigilant. Keep yourselves ready for the Lord's arrival. Luke wrote several decades after Jesus had lived, died, and rose. People were waiting for Jesus to come again in glory and to establish God's kingdom in its fullness. By Luke's time, some Christians had started to wonder why Jesus was delayed, and this led many to question their faith. Luke's response was simple. No one knew the day or the hour, and an essential part of discipleship was to stay ready. A lot of Luke's gospel repeats this command: stay awake and be ready to greet Jesus when he arrives. This is good advice for people in any walk of life, but it is a skill that I learned through playing hockey. When you're on the bench waiting for your line to take the ice, I found it easy to drift, to disengage from the game, and to get lost, especially in what went well or poorly the last time I was on the ice. It was easy for me to get lost in my own game and lose sight of the game that was actually on the ice. And from there, it's only a short journey for me to get lost in other thoughts that have nothing to do with the game at all. And then, when coach called me back onto the ice, I was nowhere ready to play. Christian discipleship is similar. We have to keep our head in the game at all times. Luke tells us to stay ready by having faith. Faith like Mary, who saw her son die, but believed he would rise. We stay ready by being compassionate, like the Good Samaritan. We stay ready by being forgiving, like the father of the prodigal son. We stay ready by listening to the Spirit, who gives us the strength and endurance we need to run the race and fight the good fight.
Welcome, everybody. Want to thank you for having me on. What we try and do with my family is something that's been important to us is saying the family rosary together. I remember, I think this maybe seed was planted for me maybe about 30 years ago. My dad happened to call me out of the blue in college one day and said, "Hey, the Virgin Mary, she's been speaking to people in Medjugorje, and these are her messages." And I really kind of blew that part off, but he told me over and over, he said, she's asking us to pray the rosary. And so it's kind of stuck with me. I started praying the rosary, I think, when I was about maybe 23, 24 years old. And now my wife and I, we've got our own 4 kids. So what is the rosary to us? Why is it important to us? And why is it important to a family? Number one, I think it really gives us a moment to pause. It gives us a moment to kind of slow down and really kind of, get away from the busyness of the day. Number two, it helps us to experience silence. We're all so busy. We're moving around from point A to point B to point Z. And as coaches, we're recruiting and practices and this and that. It gives us a moment and our family a moment to experience a little bit of silence and maybe hear God for about 15, 20 minutes. Now, number three, it helps us to practice some discipline. If we say, hey, Curran family, we're going to say the rosary at 7:00 every night. We've all got to break away from the selfish things we're doing and experience a little bit of discipline. Number four, saying the rosary as a family, for sure, it helps us to come together. 2 of our kids are teenagers. One's 16 and one's 19. And I just don't know how much we'd see of them if we didn't do this, as often as we do. Number five, it really gives us a chance, 15, 20 minutes to sort of exit the world, to get out of the world for a moment, even if it's just 20 minutes saying the rosary. These last few are really important, I think. It helps us for sure to sort of prioritize and keep in the front of our mind what's really important. So as a father, it allows me every night to pray for my kids to be pure, to be chaste, to be holy, to be giving, to be unselfish. And so if they're not thinking about it, they are once we pray the rosary together, because they've heard me pray for it. Last couple things is it helps us to practice hope. We're saying the rosary, we realize as a family that we're not on this journey alone and by ourselves. And finally, it helps us to build a foundation. What's going to happen when I'm gone someday? What's going to happen when my kids go to college and they experience adversity? Hopefully, us saying the rosary as a family is something that they, can take with them in life and use to help them. Finally, what does the rosary bring for us? 5 things very quickly. It brings peace to our family, without a doubt. You can see a difference in our family, the way we treat each other, the way we talk to each other. Number 2, it inspires curiosity in our faith. Our little 5-year-old, she asks us questions all the time because we'll say something during the rosary or pray about something. Number 3, it inspires zeal. It helps us to, think of it, the more you work out in the weight room, the more you want to work out. And the more you pray the rosary, the more you want to pray. Number 4, it gives us courage. It helps us as Catholics to swim against the current. We cannot swim against the current if we don't have the power of the Mass in our life and the rosary. And last but not least, I've already mentioned it, it gives us hope. So if you're not praying the rosary with your family, I just would encourage you to try and start, even if it's once a week. It'll certainly make a difference. It's making a difference for us.